Hi Miriam, thanks as always for uploading your pictures, your homework and your photo shoot. Excellent, and for naming them correctly as well. Appreciated. Okay, let's just look at your focus. It's just again, what camera are you using? Okay, perfect. This is actually quite a cute picture. Again, clear. Just remember the one word when thinking about focus is distance. Okay, distance is the word that we use to understand focus. All focus is a distance. If one person's closer, one person's further, you're focused on one, the other one will be out of focus, etc. Okay, so you have proven that very clearly here. Don't be upset that it's a little dark. That will come clear in the next classes while you're using automatic, but soon you're going to be, please God, moving into manual anyway, so it will affect you less, but don't worry about the exposure right now. Perfect example of focus on a closer object, the further is blurry, on the further object the closer is blurry. Okay, the third, so be careful, the third is always, it's not actually quite as simple as it thinks, just plonk something on the third. What you have to do is you have to work out the third of the subject. Where's the center of the subject? So it's interesting because we've got a darker object, we've got a darker area here. If this is our subject, the third, I think, the truth is the third is basically the center, basically, a teeny weeny little bit over maybe, but this is actually a little bit less than a third. Okay, I think a third would be over here, so that should be moved over a teeny drop. Again, we can see it's easy to move something over from this way. We just need to crop off from this side and it works. So let's have a look. So I think even a drop more actually. And I think that's actually on the third. Okay, the rule of thirds is a real rule. It exists. There's no like breaking it. I mean, there is breaking it, but whatever happens, it is there. So it is important to try and be careful. But remember, the tricky bit, not only it is a little tricky putting something exactly on the third and gauging it with your eyes, but the other part is trying to gauge the center of the subject. For example, if you have a subject with some kind of pointy thing coming out this way and a round area here, then the center won't be like right in the middle, it would be closer to the edge of the pointy thing. That's where the balance would be. So it's just an important skill to try and develop, to try and see, looking through the outer trappings of the whatever you're looking at, and looking at shapes, colors, textures, light, darkness, etc., etc. Okay, let's keep going. This is a close face. Okay, so this is good. I was more thinking about the idea of taking the picture portrait orientation. Generally, that's why it's called portrait, because it goes with taking portraits of people. Although this is fine, but that's what I was really had in mind, the idea of cropping close on a portrait orientation, meaning having no room over here and no empty space over here. What is important to remember with a face is that our point of entry are the eyes, which is here. Now, the question is, what happens to our eyes once we look at the eyes of our subject? And the answer is that they go down. Okay, they move down, obviously, because then we've got the nose and the mouth. So as we're looking, the energy is moving down, the tensions are moving down. So you've actually done this correctly. What people do who aren't sensitive to the image is when they take a picture of a face, they'll put the eyes right in the middle. Okay, but that's not exactly how it should be. The eye should be a little bit higher than the middle, so that your eye, the viewer's eye, has got room to move down a little bit. Okay, so you've done that here subtly. It could be that it could do with a little bit more. The problem is now, if I crop off his head, it's going to start to look a little bit strange. Now, the rules to cutting off heads is as follows. If we have converging lines, okay, we can cut off at a point where those lines are converging. Okay, whereas if those lines, for example, a guy's wearing a hat, yeah, and the lines are going straight up, and we crop off at where the lines are going straight up and they haven't started to converge, then in our mind's eye it will start to look absurd, like he's got a massive hat or he's got a massive head. So it's very important to make sure that there's a strong line converging before you can cut off Here I feel that it really needs to be bordered because this isn't such a strong line. It's kind of blurry, so we have a strong line here and a line here. This line isn't really catching us so much because this area here is kind of soft. Anyway, cropping in close, that's okay, it's fine. Like, the most important thing is that you paid attention to the eyes being slightly above level, but try again doing that in a portrait orientation and cropping off areas from the side here. Okay, good to space, excellent. This is really nicely seen, and the camera's done well getting a good exposure here. I think I would crop a little bit more just to give it that edge of balance, something like that. Okay, this is really good. This is perfect, basically. Similar picture to what I would take. Very good, excellent. Stats are good as well, but I think you're still on program, so that's to do with the camera. Energies are great, pin sharp. You nailed it. Great shot, excellent. Okay, into the photo shoot. Now again, a little underexposed. You'll again understand that in the next few classes. I think actually in the last class you'll understand why this is underexposed, but you would have fixed it well before that, because we're going to teach you about, you're going to move into a different way of taking pictures, into manual as opposed to automatic. You've cropped in very close. It's great because you're demonstrating a real sensitivity to the energies of the image. This is excellent. This is really good, really encouraging. Okay, eyes moving, we come in here, over here. Obviously it's too dark, so forget that. But the eyes come into over here, and now we move over this way, we come back here. There's no wasted space over here. This is of interest. Excellent. Really real sensitivity to the image. Excellent. Okay, also great. How this could have been improved would have you be getting a little bit lower down, which would actually bring their faces closer together. One of the biggest principles of portrait photography when dealing with families is keeping faces close together. Can you break the rules? Yes, you can break all the rules. It's fine. I'm just trying to give you like general principles. Keeping the faces as close together as possible is generally a very good idea. So the reason why this image is feels a little bit off is our eyes moving down from this little girl's face, and it's our eyes banging into the edge here. There's another tension, but basically we need a little bit more room at the bottom over here. We've got two energies going down, and the fact that her face, like I explained before with the eyes, is so close to the bottom of the frame that our eyes moving down, and that's creating a kind of tension when we look at the picture. Okay, but it's a great shot. It's a lot of life. Again, a little bit underexposed. We can fix that in post. A lot of energy. It's great. It could be cropping off. This could be a really good image in black and white. Maybe we'll do this on photo. Let's have a look. Again, another great shot. Really good, promising, excellent stuff. So we do want to straighten it slightly. Let's 1 second. Let's just straighten things a little bit. Now it's interesting with straightening because you can see this line isn't straight, and this line for sure isn't straight. But straightening an image being straight, means that all the lines added together, if you add all the angles of all the lines, obviously you're never going to do such a thing, but you do it in your mind's eye. So these lines are a little bit like down, and these lines are a little bit up. So altogether it comes up, there aren't really any straight lines on the page, but the feeling is that the image is straight. Okay, this is a really nice shot. I would crop in a little closer over here. And I think you also nailed the focus. I think it's actually, the problem is that it's a little slow. We're going to learn about that in the next class, excuse me. Excellent, really well seen. Could be an idea to have him rest his arm on the, it couldn't be that he wouldn't be able to get that far. Or put this arm hanging down a little bit, maybe, or just drooping onto here. But that's really well seen. Excellent, nicely balanced, good image. Okay, this isn't as strong as this picture, but we can definitely crop in and do quite a bit there. That makes a big difference. Again, underexposed, You'll learn about that. But the actual, that's just simple technicalities to fix out. But the actual seeing of the image, that's what you're doing great with. Excellent. Good shot. Okay. Don't quite understand this. Oh, okay. So he's hanging on to something. Again, the camera's underexposed. It could be that you have to check out your exposure compensation. So maybe flick through the back of your camera, find exposure compensation, and make sure the exposure compensation is in the middle. I'm not sure. Partial metering. I think you need to check your exposure compensation. Make sure it's in the middle. Okay. It could be that it's in the middle anyway, and that this is to do something else. But check that as it is. Nice shot. Again, underexposed, we can't talk too much. It's cute. It's, it's definitely not as sensitive or as intelligent as a picture like this or this or this. But it's cute, and it's nice to have these pictures in the portfolio. Okay, let's have a look at, let's see if we can do something cute with this picture. I think we can. So I'm going to take it to black and white. There's a lot of energy in this picture immediately. That's what I'm looking at. And I'm definitely going to take this into black and white, and I'm going to squeeze out as much energy as possible. Another thing I'm going to do to give some more energy is I'm going to crop in close. Now, the way I'm looking at this picture is identifying what the subject is. Okay, and I've decided that she's going to be our subject, and this girl in the background is a kind of emotional aid, but she's the subject. So now let's go first things first to black and white. Let's go to our color. Usually we need the orange, which will bring up the skin tones. That's fine, we don't need that, that's fine. Okay, let's now bring up the highlights a little bit of contrast. And the whites up a bit, there we go, that's what I was looking for. And I also want to bring up the clarity, and I'm going to add some grit. I'm going to add some grain, just to make it. Let's just have a look here. Let's see what's doing with the grain. This is good. Good. Now what I want to do is I want to de-emphasize. I'm not sure actually. Let's see what happens. But I'm thinking that I want to de-emphasize her and emphasize this little girl here. Remember, to emphasize anything, we've got two options. A is to emphasize it, and B is to de-emphasize everything else. Okay, so let's do B here. De-emphasizing, generally, there's three general options: darkening, softening, and warming. So we're in black and white, so we can't really soften, but we can. So we can't warmify, but we can soften and darken, which is what we're doing. So bring that down a little bit. Okay, and I think I want to actually add a little bit more brightness to this little girl's face. Not like that. And it could even be, in this case, I can actually crop in closer. Let's see. Because we've really made this girl in the background now super secondary. Do you understand? So we've actually went from this to this. That's really a great shot. I love that picture. So we actually made a decision that our subject is this little girl, and then this little girl, we were able to even cut her head off, in a sense, cut the top of her head off, which generally wouldn't work. But she's just a graphical device, so to speak, in the image to add more energy. But it's a picture of this little girl here. Excellent. Great. Good work. Looking forward to seeing what you do for us next week. Okay. All the best.